Welcome to the shop. It's another boring woodworking video. This one's about a project. It's a competition. Sit back, but before we get started, go down in the bottom and vote for me in the straw poll so I win the contest. You know, another boring YouTube video. So it's about children's furniture. We had to use boring 1/2" MDF. So like and subscribe, the whole thing there. Let's get started. Like I said, it's a CNC with me video. We're going to use one bit out of the 3 bits. This is a Downtown Jenny to create this, and yeah, we're using this 1/2" piece of MDF like I said. So first thing you got to do is cut this thing down to the right size. Going to use a track saw to cut this down into the right size width. We're going to throw it onto 1finity. Going to use Carveco to cut it out. You know, the best Carveco. So again, go to the straw poll, vote for the Hinkleshop. You know the routine. Like and subscribe. Let's cut this thing up. I might as well tell you what size stock you're going to need. You're going to need one that's 9 1/4 by 12. You're going to need 2 rockers, 11 by 32 for the stock. The sides are 17 1/4 by 17 1/4. You're going to have 2 of them. And the seat is 10 1/2 by 12 1/2. Rockers, 11 by 32. So, in case you didn't know, MDF comes in 8 foot by 4 foot. So we're going to cut an 11" piece off of here. So it'll be 11 by 48. We'll get leftover 11 by 12. See how good I am at math? 32 from 48 is 12. Just got this thing here from Milescraft. It's another beauty. Slides across here nice and straight and square and true and plumb and flush and level. Here's some dust collection. It's collecting right here in the garbage. So I would continue like that, cutting up all these pieces till I got them to the right width. Then I'll use a table saw to cut them to the right length. And then we'll jump on to 1finity. Pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure I should win this contest. Straw poll. And it was at that point that Lisa came in and cheered me up. So let's get back to normal. Let's be happy about woodworking like everybody is. So again, we're going to cut these guys up to the right size, the right width I should say, in this case. And we're going to pop them on the 1finity. We're going to cut out the patterns one by one until we end up with what we're calling the Dizzy Rocker. Now let's really get started and lose the attitude. This is the rocker piece, 32. Because this is a painting project, you can write right on these and label what they are so you don't get confused when you go over there. This is braces. These don't have to be exactly 9 1/4, 10 1/2, etc., etc. You just want to make sure you're leaving enough stock for the program. So the other one was the seat, actually. This one is the braces. So we'll write braces here. I corrected the seat over there. This one is 9 1/4 by 12. It's actually 12 1/2 because, like I said, we're going to use the same size stock for the seat as we do the braces. That way we don't rip off another piece on the MDF and ruin it. So 9 1/4. Now we have braces, rockers, sides 17 1/4 by 17 1/4. Bing, bang, boom, all the parts are cut out. Let's put them on the mill. Now I am going to use double-sided tape for this project, although it will have tabs in the files, so that way nothing will move around. But in this case, we're going to use the double-sided tape to hold the stock in place. But I'm going to do another little trick here that I want to show you. Quite easy, quite simple. I'm going to zero the machine to a certain crack here in my wasteboard. I'm going to line that up in the same exact spot every time. And to mark that, I'm just going to take a piece of this blue tape and I'm going to put it here so that I remember where I line up the corner of my stock. For example, this is the side. I'll bring it in against the pipes, slide it over until it lines up with that crack in my wasteboard. I'll remove this guy, zero it out, then every time I put the next piece in, I will bring the piece in like so, put it against the pipes. I'll obviously put this back in, I won't need it out then. Put it against the pipes and bring it back over to that same exact point. No need to re-zero. Hit go, bing, bang, you're done. And then you can start cutting your next part out. So we'll put some double-sided tape on this guy, zero it to here, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. Now I must say right off the bat, I'm not a big fan of double-sided tape. In this instance where the stock moving slightly, ever so slightly, is not a big deal, this isn't a problem. But if you're going to do a V-carve inlay, do not, I repeat, do not use double-sided tape, because the male and the female will not fit. Whether you can see it or not, there's slight movement, and I'm exaggerating this, there's slight movement in your stock as that machine and as that tool goes across when you're using double-sided tape. There's a rubbery consistency to the, I guess the only way I can say is to the tape itself. That piece right there has a rubbery consistency to it, so it will move and it will mess up your V-carve inlay. So don't do that. Another thing is make sure there's no leftover dust on here, otherwise it's not going to stick. As I said, against the pipes, over to the edge of that. Pressure is what makes double-sided tape stick. You might want to pound on that a little bit with a rubber hammer, but it's in pretty good. But I wish I could show you, if you could zoom right in close enough, you could see that that's moving just a little bit. Pull this guy, zero the machine, and we can rock and roll. All right, we're ready to cut this out. Before you begin though, one thing to keep in mind, there's a left and a right side to the sides. They're very specific, so make sure you carve your left and your right, and don't carve two lefts and two rights, because you'll be wrong and you want to be right. Make sense? All right, let's carve the left side first. And before I say go, you'll notice I put in a little clamps here on the edges. As I said, not a big fan of the double-sided tape, and it wasn't holding on the corners. It was bowing a little bit. So hopefully my program won't nick these, but these are 3D printed, so if it does hit them, that bit will go right through that plastic like butter, and I'll just make some new ones. But let's go. And also, I'm going to leave the dust collection off for a bit so y'all can see what it's doing, but then I'm going to put it on because I can't stand the dust and the dirt all over the place. Another quick tip to improve efficiency: while that machine's running, go ahead and put your tape on. Leave the sticky side on your surface, actually, obviously, and then when you're ready to go, you can peel the, I don't know what color that is, yellow or green. Being colorblind, that's a little tough, but peel the backer off, put it on there, and you're ready to go again. Now all exposed edges will get a round over with a 3/16 router bit, but before you take your seat or the braces out of, don't cut your tabs before you remove the waste material. use that waste material while it's still connected to set the depth on your roundover. Then take your multi-tool and cut the tabs loose. Pushing against your piece to minimize the amount of sanding. Make sure you're holding straight, because if you go like this, it'll grind into your piece. But if you do it correctly, you'll have minimal sanding to get that off. And again, you're doing a round over on the edges, not on these, but on these edges where the child will sit, along the edges of the rockers, along the edges of the back pieces, along the zigzag of the Dizzy chair. I'll do that now, and then we'll put it together. One thing I want to point out is right here, don't round over these edges right here on these tabs. The way that's going to work is it's going to go into here and make a lap joint so that it's pretty smooth and it's in the same thickness, like so. So you don't want to round those corners off, because it'll make a gap on this side that won't look nice. Same thing here, we would stop there, start there. Now it's just a matter of assembly. The braces go along the back in these two slots. They are a snug fit. You can put a little glue on them if you chose to, but they do fit snug. Seat, same thing, does fit snug. Once you get it in line, it'll go in. If you need a little tappy tap, put a block on the top. And I forgot to tell you was to chamfer these corners just a little bit. It'll help it go together. Some sandpaper, 120 grit. Line up the other side and put that on. And if you wanted to stop right there, you could with this, and you would have a chair for your little one. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to put the rockers on. Rockers go this way, like this. And they'll get glued on, and then it's back, or then it's in for paint with the finishing room. Finishing room is Lisa. One thing I do want to point out, just to show you that I really didn't cut this thing out willy-nilly, and that I did put some effort into making sure that it was nice. If you look right here, and here, here, and here, the angle on the bottom of the chair matches the angle on the bottom of the rocker. So there's no clunk clunk when it goes over them. Just a little added feature that I took the time to put into this thing. Don't forget to vote for me in the straw poll in the bottom. I don't know how many times I can plug that, but vote Hinkleshop. Here we're going to add a little CA glue to the bottom and the back sides. I know it went together nice and snug, but this is a little more insurance that it's not going to wiggle and come apart. And I've been plugging the Hinkleshop here pretty good, but the other competitors' videos will be in the description below, links to their videos, so you can check out what they made in this competition. Check them out, but still vote for me. And Lisa didn't like all the red, so I said, well, I'll throw some polka dots on it. I used the laser to make that little stencil, and we threw some blue polka dots on it to busy it up a little bit. The red was too flat, she said, and we put the yellow in. Each time I sprayed that yellow, it wanted to run, so it was a little bit of a challenge there, but I think it breaks up the straight red. We put it on the sides and the back and called it good. All right, there you have it. CNC Against Me, round 2, the Hinkleshop entry, the Dizzy Rocking Chair for your little one. And yes, it does rock, and yes, it's made so it will not tip over. I don't care how hard they rock on this thing. It's made so that it will not tip over, but it acts like mom and dad's chair. The little one can rock back and forth and get the feel for it. As always, vote for us in the straw poll on the bottom. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you don't have to CNC alone. You can CNC against me or with me and Lisa.